Hello trainers, Ganeto here, and today we are diving together into Love Cup with my best teams video. We're having in total 5 of those teams and we're gonna analyze their strong assets while their core breakers as well. Having now on the first team showcase the Medicham on the lead, at the back the Lickitung as a safe switch and Charizard as a closer. So Charizard is gonna be a big thing for the meta, especially now that it has access to the wing attack, and unlike the last time we had the Love Cup, well, Charizard was not that big of an asset, but now it can reach there to its charge attacks much faster while it can resist that charm damage and of course can go pretty well against the Medicham of your opponent. At the back we also got the Lickitung, which is indeed one of the safest switches out there, able to go even toe to toe against that Medicham matchup, which is pretty nice for the Lickitung, and consider the fact that it is gonna be a pure normal type. Up in front we got the Medicham of our own this time, and you're gonna see that the counters and the power up punches are still gonna get you there where you want this Pokemon to be. Ice Punch not so much for the meta. I really think that in the long term of the battle against something like an Alomomola, something like a Lickitung, or something like whatever a tanky Pokemon, you still need your power up punch, because those counters after a few power up punches are still gonna do a lot of damage and your opponent might be not able to withstand the damage. So we're looking at a line that is gonna be extremely strong offensively. It has the bulk to withstand the damage defensively, and of course keeping your Charizard as a closer sometimes will mean that your Medicham and Lickitung will be used as bodies to grab those moves and then leave aside some room for the Charizard to sweep the entire match. As a core breaker here we got the Alomomola, because it can have a close win against the Medicham, can go toe to toe against Lickitung, and of course can wall down the Charizard, which is gonna be the Charizard's most meta relevant threat. Other than that you're gonna be just fine, and this team works pretty well against the entire meta of Love Cup. Into the next one, and we're having Mantis the Lurantis up on the lead. This Pokemon is gonna charge up super fast to that superpower or the Leaf Blade. Most probably you're gonna go back to back with this one, because its offensive attack stat is gonna be pretty cool. Defensively not so much, you're gonna have a lot of problems, but the backline can really make up for it. You're gonna see that this team is kinda of a very heavily pressuring team up in front, especially with that spammy moveset of Mantis, able to hit super effective pretty much the whole meta. At the back you got the wild charges and the energy balls from the Issue Electrode, and the confusion damage in combination with a single charge attack from your Slowbro might be the optimal scenario for you to close any battle. So Lurantis is definitely an all-around leader for any team, and I think that on this line is gonna work pretty well. We're also having the Slowbro as our closer. Yeah, confusion damage is not a joke at all, but please consider using Water Gun as well, because the fire types might be a little bit more usual this time, and you're gonna see that with Water Gun you can definitely farm all that energy out of your opponent, get out of there with 100 energy, and the moves that Slowbro is having, well, they have to block, otherwise they are gonna get knocked down. As a safe switch here I got the Issue Electrode, because of its ability to go into the battle, pretty much go neutral against the meta. You got the back-to-back wild charges or the energy ball, and at worst case scenario you're gonna take 2 shields out of your opponent, which is pretty neat, and this is what you should be aiming for when you're facing an Alomomola or whatever with your Issue Electrode. Get those shields out of play and then try to finish off the battle with your confusions and the remaining shields on your Slowbro. Core breaker of this line is gonna be the Ariados, because it can simply wall down the matchup with Lurantis, has a very good answer with the Lance against Slowbro, and Lance or Cross Poison can also help against Electrode. So other than Ariados you're gonna be just fine, and this team works pretty nice individually with its amazing synergy. A Draconic team for Team Showcase number 3. So we're having a lot of action here with a line that I think is gonna be one of the strongest currently for the Love Cup meta. At least this is the one that I'm gonna play for the very first battles. So Draconic up on the lead, able to do a lot of neutral work against other leads, and I think that its most severe weakness is gonna be those fairies. So with that in mind, the backline can come pretty handy here, especially with the Seeking being the safe switch. Seeking coming in with triple legacy, so that's a huge asterisk for this Pokemon, and I think that it can work much better as safe switch than the other Poison Jabber because of Icy Wind able to debuff the opponent, and then you can still have a chance with your Drillrun to nuke them down. As a closer, I decided to have here the Slowbro on its Galarian form because of its ability to nuke down the enemy with a Focus Blast, with a Psychic, or even a Slash Bomb. So it's all up to you about the moveset. I have seen every single possible moveset for this Pokemon and it absolutely works. Even Confusion or Poison Jab, it's up to you, but I really think that Poison Jab here is gonna do the better work against the enemy. Core Breaker of this line is gonna be the Wormadam because its Steel typing really helps against the Dragon moves from our Dradigon. At the back, those Confusions are still gonna hurt our Poison Jabbers, and of course that Steel typing of its own is just gonna do tremendous amount of work resisting pretty much Dragon Tails and the Poison Jabs or even the Confusion from the Galarian Slowbro. So definitely a solid Core Breaker, not the best out there, and definitely a playable one because even against our backline Pokemon it can still struggle if you can play this correctly with some Shield Jab. And as we're hopping into the next one, you are observing that we have turned around that Core Breaker from the previous line into a closer for this one. So this Pokemon is pretty amazing. It's one of the few ones in the meta that can work with their defense, relying on the defense and especially the Steel typing in order to do some solid work against the enemy. Able to resist pretty much the entire meta right now, and of course can provide a lot of pressure with its Confusion, especially against the Poison types. And it can have the coverage move on the face of Back Bash. This one is gonna do tremendous amount of work on the enemy, able to have a chance to lower the opposing side's defense, while Iron Head can be used for coverage. Up in front for this line, we got Electrode with that Hyper Beam to destroy down the enemy, but to be honest, I think that Discharge and Foul Play might just be your way to go. However, Foul Play can always be replaceable, so Hyper Beam might find its way to go in and you can nuke down some unsuspected opponents if they do not expect at all. 5-volt switches is gonna mean that one whole Hyper Beam might be coming towards your way, or you can just go to Boomtown by nuking down the enemy. As a safe switch here, we got the Miltank, which is not the safest switches, one of the safest switches, but still a safe overall because of that Medicham being around and an overall threat to the meta. So about Miltank, it can still survive the hits, so by all means definitely a very good tanky Pokemon for your team. Most probably you're not gonna use any shields on this one, and of course you can rely on its spammy rollout with the Body Slam, or just go with a Thunderbolt for a really nice amount of damage to those flyers. As a Core Breaker here, we got the Scrafty, and this one can work pretty well on the backline, while up in front can go toe to toe against Electrode, and in the 2-shield scenario it can get out of there, out of the fight with a lot of power punches on its bank, so their attack stat might be kinda problematic. So other than Scrafty, which I don't think we're gonna see a lot, you are not gonna have any other problem at all in the meta. Alomomola is the main mascot of Love Cup, so here it is on the final team showcase with Scrafty and Ariados. About Scrafty, we have just said that it will not be that much around in the meta, but I think as a closer it might find some use, especially against the double Psychic at the back with all those slow brothers being around. We got the safe switch on the face of Ariados, able to debuff the enemy, so that's why I like it as a safe switch, and with Cross Poison it can still go toe to toe even against a Charizard, so that's pretty cool for Ariados. And of course after that boost on your attack stat, if you happen to get one with Cross Poison, you might be able to do a lot more work in the process. So definitely one of the best safe switches out there, and Ariados is gonna live up to its name for this cup. So Alomomola, the main mascot of Love Cup, is just gonna go in there with those waterfalls, able to pressure a lot with its fast attack, relying a lot on that one, and you are gonna get there to the Psychic, not very fast but still not very slow. So definitely an all-around leader for anything in the meta, even against something like an Electrode, the Cantonian one of course. You can still pressure with the waterfalls while dealing a lot of work with your Psychics, and of course Hydro Bomb can also nuke down unsuspected opponents. Core Breaker of this line, Slowbro on its Galarian form, perhaps looking as well, because it can go pretty well against this team. Your only answer might be your Scrafty, especially with that dark typing of its own, and of course I think you still have a lot of play against that Pokemon because it needs to have confusion in order to be a solid core breaker for your line, but other than that you're gonna be very good against that one. So this team definitely has no severe weakness at all, and I think that with its amazing coverage it can go pretty big on that Love Cup meta. So that's all, trainers. Thank you for watching, thank you for staying till the end. Just be sure to leave a huge like before you go, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, and I hope to see you all into the next one. Take care, trainers!